Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you have some questions on how I shot everything and what I think about the DJI Air 3 after using it for about 3 months, I guess, maybe a little bit longer. So let's directly talk about how I got all these shots. I shot everything in 4K 24 frames per second in D-Log-M. I never use 60 frames per second or so because I think slow motion is not really needed when you get drone shots. And I color graded everything in HDR PQ, HDR plus metadata, if that says something to you. It's quite technical, I know. And I would generally say that you probably don't want to color grade it in HDR because it's a mess. It is really complicated. I'm still learning it right now. And from doing that, I can tell you that it involves a lot more effort. So if you're not experienced already with color grading, that's probably not for you. But anyway, talking about D-Log-M, it's not my favorite log profile, mainly because DaVinci Resolve doesn't have a native transfer function for it. So it cannot transfer the log colors directly to Rec 709. I also think that D-Log-M is not actually that flat. It could be a bit flatter in my opinion, like the normal D-Log profile from the Mavic 3 Pro, for example. That's also why I didn't end up consistently color grading all those shots. Like for some shots, I ended up using Cinematch to bring it to normal colors and then slapping my Depthscape slots on it. And in other shots, I just used Film Convert plus some custom corrections, because actually Film Convert and Cinematch do a very good job at handling the footage, but I found that for some shots the one works better and for other shots the others. We'll also leave links to my large Cinematch and Film Convert in the description below. If you want to achieve similar color grades to what I did here, then you can check that out. And you also saw a few hyperlapses in this video that I shot completely different. These were raw photo hyperlapses. So I basically used the hyperlapse functionality on the DJI Air 3 to get those time lapses. And how I exactly do it is that on my first or second battery, I wait until it's down to around 40 to 35%. And then I set my waypoints and save them. Then I land the drone, change the battery to have a full one in there again, because I want to make the hyperlapses as long as possible, usually somewhere around 23 to 30 minutes long, and obviously therefore you need a full battery. So then I fly up again and I simply start the hyperlapse that I saved before based on those waypoints, and the drone does the rest. It flies the way automatically and gets all the photos, and then I just drag the DNG photos into the timeline in DaVinci Resolve. I do a few small corrections then to ensure that the shadows or highlights are not crushed with those raw photos, and then I export that as a ProRes 4:2 file to preserve all the quality. Eventually, if I store the files later, I convert that to H.265 10-bit 4:2 so that the files are a bit smaller, but I still have a pretty good quality for long-term storage. And yeah, that's how I have the hyperlapse done. It takes a little bit more time color grading in the end because I cannot just transform log then to Rec 709 or other color spaces with LUT, so either with DaVinci Resolve transform, so there I have to custom color grade. That's also why those colors of those hyperlapses look slightly different. And talking about what I think of this drone, at first, video quality, obviously it is a little bit lower than the Mavic 3 Pro. I did a comparison some time ago on both drones, and it's pretty much what I said there. When I watch it on a 27-inch monitor, for example, I can see the difference, but the moment I'm watching on my 16-inch MacBook Pro on an iPhone or so, it's really hard to tell aside from dynamic range. So I think most video creators that do stuff for social media, maybe even a bit of commercial work, are fine with that. But if you work on higher budget productions, then I would certainly go for the Mavic 3 Pro. But what I must also say is that the size and weight of the DJI Air 3 are definitely not Air-like anymore, like previous Air drones. It is a lot bigger and heavier. However, I do think that it's worth it because it has the 70mm lens, and as you could see in the video, I use this lens a lot. It's not just that you're closer to the subject, but you get more compression, and therefore the shots overall look different, and you also get more parallax effect, for example, when you move to the sides or in a circle. And that's also why I would recommend the Air 3 over the Mini 4, because of that lens. It just makes such a big difference that I think it's worth the additional weight. However, the Mini 4 gives you the same video quality on the 24mm lens, it just doesn't have the second 70mm lens. That's why if you do a lot of hiking, etc., or you generally want to travel really light, the Mini 4 would also be a drone that you should look into. But the actual reason why I actually sold my Mavic 3 Pro for the Air 3 was the fact that you can get the Air 3 together with the Fly More combos through 3 batteries and the nice battery charger for, I think, around $1,500 or so, like about $1,000 cheaper than the Mavic 3 Pro without the Fly More combo. That is actually huge at first, as I mentioned before, for hyperlapses, because obviously if I want to shoot hyperlapses and videos, I need more batteries. And the battery charging hub is also great to have when you travel because you can use it as a power bank. For example, I've been recently here to the Pepong Pyong rice terraces in the north of Thailand. It's close to Doi Internon. Very nice place, but there is no electricity overnight. So there I had to use the Air 3 batteries to charge my FPV batteries. Otherwise, I would not have been able to fly my FPV drone in the morning. Then did some more tours and I used those batteries all the time. And that's why I would actually say that the DJI Air 3 is, in my opinion, the perfect travel drone. It's still a little bit heavier than the mini series, but it's still okay to travel with that. And you have all the other functionalities like the charging hub, like the 70mm lens, and it's overall a drone that stands very stable in the air. So especially on hyperlapses, you notice that the drone shakes a lot less, and therefore it's a lot easier to edit in post because stabilizing hyperlapses can be pretty challenging. So that's my opinion about the DJI Air 3 after shooting with it for about 3 months. I think it's a perfect travel drone, and if you want to get it, you won't regret it. I will leave links to the DJI Air 3, all the plugins and LUTs that I used in the description below, and also to the Mini 4 in case you don't need the 70mm lens, because as mentioned before, it's a great drone as well. And aside from that, please leave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video for upcoming reviews and tutorials. See you. Bye.